Hey folks, this is July the 29th, Friday, 2022, Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. And we had the most delectable day yesterday. By the way, you just have 3 more days of delicious July. Only 3 more days of it. That delectable month of caressing heat, caressing temperatures. And sunshine and flowers and brightness. And here's how it started. Of course, with the morning meditation and the morning spiritual and the morning physical, to do all those things first, and then sit down and talk to you on the YouTube on Soul to Soul. By the way, will you call me or text me or email me and tell me about your day yesterday and how you're making our big goal. Our biggest goal is, when all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how you treat others. Now we know that the world knows that, everybody knows that in his heart. All we're trying to do, you and I, is to just remind the world of that. Just remind people of that. When all is said and done, the only thing in the world that really matters is how did you treat others. Now, the best thing that happened in the early morning, around 9 o'clock, is that our helper came, and she is terrific. And the first thing she did was to clear out the clutter in file drawer number 10. Then the next one she did was the file drawers behind here. They haven't been cleaned out for a whole quarter. The buffet table drawer number 1, buffet table drawer number 2, buffet table drawer number 3, buffet table drawer number 4. And those were office supplies, and many of my helpers duplicated and wasted so much money just because they don't care. All they care about is getting their check. And so we found a lot of mistakes that had to be corrected there. And my helper number 1 did that, and did it very, very nicely. Very, very nicely. And then helper number 1 went through this tower, this right tower. There's a right tower and a left tower. And there were over 200 objects in that tower that had to be sorted out. But now it's just as clean and spiffy as can be. It's shipshape. You know, we imagine this enterprise to be a shipshape. It's the old SS Glendora that was on WRGB in 1955 to 1962, Channel 6. So we want this ship in shape. And then the next one was to clean the stove. You know, take out the burners, wash them, and then take out the collars and throw them away. You know, the collars that go around the burners. And then to bring up the porcelain front. And there's this beautiful porcelain layer below, and it washes so nicely. And so now the stove is clean. And then my helper had to go. Well, I want to tell you, all through that time, and up until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, was a time of being it. Of pure thought, no negative thought, no second level thought, no trivial thought, no ugly thought. Just thinking about the wonders of God and you and Glennie and all of our friends together, working together to move the universe forward, to make it go and grow and glow. Perfect, pure thoughts, all the time. 40 an hour, yes, but beyond that. And then our second helper came in. She's always late. If she had been in time, the first helper would have clocked out and she would have clocked in right on the tail. But second helper never can get here on time. Or very, very, very few times. Maybe 3 times out of 400. And second helper did a lot. The voicemail, the calls that come in on 3 different telephones here. The new people call up every day, and new people want to be added every day, and you have to have their address and their telephone numbers. And then you have to call them every day until you see if we've done what they've asked us to do. And then we did 10 calls on contacts. There's like 300 or 400 people on contact. And so every month we do 10 a day. We did that. And then she made me squash. Very, very good squash. Very good Beyond Meat. No, Beyond, yeah, that's what it's called, right? Beyond Meat. Costs $10 for 2 slices, and it's a vegan hamburger. And then with that we had something else. Toast, was it? And we cleaned out the freezer at last. There were over 40 dinners from Trader Joe and Gardein vegan meatballs. So we cleaned out the freezer, and that has taken about 2 months at last, that accomplishment. And then my helper number 2 began her railing about not getting paid and calling up Consumer Direct and being very rude and acerbating to the woman who answered the phone for Consumer Direct in the payroll department. And she just got worse and worse and worse, and more irritating. And then she got the idea that I wasn't going to pay her the extra. I don't know where she got that idea. She says that 5 hours are owed to her. Maybe, maybe not, but I don't care. I'm going to give her $75 out of my pocket. She's going to get it. It's sitting right here for her. And then she probably made the next mess. And she left, and I asked her not to come back again. And she's been with me 1 year and a month. I asked her not to come back again. And I figured it out. It's going to be much better. It's too confusing this way, and she always adds confusion. Because she screams and she hollers and she doesn't have her facts right, and her memory isn't right. And so I stopped work when I should have. I start at 5 a.m. I stop at 5 p.m. And then I go into my so-called sanctuary, my bed, and I lie down and I think and I meditate and I plan and I go over the blessings of the day and think about what blessings have to be done tomorrow. And then I went to sleep. I'm supposed to go to sleep at 9 because I get up at 5. And I did some more meditating. And I did the foundation, physical and spiritual. And at 8 o'clock in the morning, on the door. and it's so-called Adult Protective Services, Rensselaer County, and it's Tara again, T-A-R-R-A, I think it is, and she is a T-E-R-R-O-R, with a complaint about me that I'm not well, and I can't hear her up by where I am now talking to you. So it takes me 15 minutes, well, 10, 5, to get up from the desk, the hard workbench, and go down by touch to the door. And finally I find out that that's who it is. And I said, you talked to me on the phone. So I went back to the desk and I listened to her on the phone. And I have a recording of that, a video of that. And she insisted on my opening the door and seeing me, and I refused. And I said, who is making the complaint? We can't tell you that. And I said, don't you know that we all have a Fifth Amendment right to be faced by our accuser? And another thing, you didn't read me my rights. I do not have to talk to you. Okay, I have a right to remain silent. I also have a right to counsel, and my counsel isn't here at the moment. And now I think we know who made that complaint. It would be helper number 2. It would be helper number 2. And at the end of the day yesterday, I called 2 people and asked them to give helper number 2, because this phone has to go to settings and be set. It might be the airplane on here or something, but it's got to be set, because I couldn't reach helper number 2 by phone. But this is my message. Helper number 2, your check is all ready for you. Come down, I'll have somebody help me make it out. I'll sign it. You said 5 hours, that's $15 an hour. That'll be $75. I'll give you the check. You're all set, and don't come back again. That's who it was. And Rensselaer County, I said, I'm going to add you to the lawsuit because you're violating my rights as a senior, as elderly, and you're also violating my right to a warranty of habitability. This is my castle. The rent is paid. I have a right to live in my home and not be disturbed and threatened and have people knocking on my door. I asked Tara if she had somebody with her, and she said yes, Elaine. And I asked Tara who her supervisor was, and she said Linda Jones, she said. She said that she would be back, and I said, if you come back, I'm going to call the police. She says, then I will be able to see you. She asked me 4, 5, 6 times to open the door so she could see me face to face. And I said, you can see me face to face in a half an hour. I'll be going on the YouTube across the country, 72 TV stations, Boston to San Diego, Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Chicago, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Portland, Oregon, San Francisco, San Jose, San Diego, San Antonio. But I forgot to say that I'm going to be on the YouTube as far as my video goes, but I have to wait for one of my technicians, Helper 3, to get here to upload it to the YouTube. Complainant number 2, the helper number 2, could do that if she were here. But we'll have to wait until this afternoon. Sorry about that error. Helping others, you'll enjoy it. Satisfaction guaranteed. We got rid of the ego, selfishness. We got rid of the ego, selfishness. Something is no longer here. We want you to have it. We're talking to you, our dear TV audience, for what? 70 years now? 60 years? We want you to have it. What? Peace that passes understanding. Helping others, you'll enjoy it. Satisfaction guaranteed. And from the Bible, hey Google, will you give me a Bible passage, please? I think you're sleeping, Google, or we have to go to settings. This is a brand new phone we got yesterday. Yes, day before yesterday. It's beautiful and it's through Spectrum Charter. Now see, it comes on. Can you see it come on? But it won't stay on. Oh, wait a second, it's staying on. Hey Google, will you give me a Bible passage, please? Read it to me. Hey Google, read a Bible passage, please. Speakerphone. I think it will work in a while, but you see, it has action on it. All right, I'll give you a Bible passage. When you pray, believe that you are going to receive it, and you will. Now this is true. Do you know the hidden secret why this is true? Because we are all one with God, and there's nothing but God. Do you believe there's any other force in the world but God? Well, there isn't. And good will come out of this mess that we just described this morning. Good will come out of it. And love will come out of it. But, frankly, personally, I do not like petitionary prayer. And the reason is obvious. God gives us everything we need and everything we want. God is a good daddy. If he knows there's something we need, he'll bring it home at night to us when he comes home from work. God is a good daddy. He takes care of his children. And another thing, I don't like telling God how to run the universe. God knows what to do, when to do it, how to do it. You don't have to ask God to do it. If you need it, God will give it to you. And it's already there. Okay, you shut that one down. Let's try to think of another Bible passage. All things work for good for those who love the Lord. All things work for good for those who love the Lord. Yes, now I pretty much convinced myself that the complainant was helper number 2. He had the wrong idea from the beginning, and she screams and hollers at us all about nothing because she's going to get paid. In fact, she has been paid. It's here. But she is out. Now another catastrophe of yesterday. How about telling us something good before you tell me about another catastrophe? Okay. All right, something good. It's always the July flowers and the July fruit and vegetables. Oh, I know what it was. We have a friend down in one of the counties right next to the Bronx, right next to Manhattan, north thereof. And she was so uplifted. I paid her 3 testimonials of 3 healings. People who had been healed by Christian Science with Key to the Scriptures by Mary Baker Eddy. And I played 3 of them over the phone. I can't play any for you because they're so severely copyrighted. And she was so uplifted about that. She wanted to go out and get the book right away. And I told her how to do that. Oh, that's a good one. Because you know, that's what you and I want to do more than anything. We want to heal. We want to heal like this helper number 2 who flew off the handle yesterday. Want to make her a nice person. Yes, that's it. That's who it. She called up yesterday afternoon to the so-called Adult Protective Services and made the complaint. And then they couldn't wait to get here. At 8 o'clock the next morning, they're rapping on my door. Okay, well, that's interesting, and good will come of it. So we've had our Bible passage, and we've had our hymn. There's another hymn I'd like to have you hear, if you would. Just as I am without one plea, but that thy blood was shed for me, and that thou bidst me come to thee, O Lamb of God, I come. I come. And a word. Did you ever look up the definition of the word adequate? It means to fulfill the desired end. And that's where you and I have been.
The time is 10 o'clock a.m.
July the 29th, Friday, Anno Domini. You and I have been for years. Remember we took the vow together? I would help you and you would help me. And we would try to, when all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how you treat others. And I was doing that perfectly yesterday when this helper number 2 had to ruin everything. But I pray for her, and I pray for her that she find it, and quickly. What else? Just want to go over those big accomplishments on house cleaning. It is so nice to have this tower with 200 objects in it, all in a row, and all standing up. And the articles in drawer 10 and the articles in the 4 drawers in the buffet and the kitchen stove clean with the old collars thrown away and the new collars on their way by whoever's going to do the errands next at Walmart. And Tara was asking me all kinds of personal questions. about the owner, and she called the owner landlord, and I told her I don't have any landlord, I have only one lord. If she want to call her the owner, okay. Also told her I was going to add her to the lawsuit for First Amendment violations. Let me go over the lawsuit briefly. It can be brought in the United States Supreme Court as an original action, and because it's violation of the First Amendment, and that Rensselaer County is a government actor and therefore can be sued for the First Amendment violation. And I sued for $23 million compensatory and punitive damages. I don't want them to do this to anybody else. I want all other people protected from their aggression and their things that happened in World War II. I don't even like to call by name. This is America. And the last four letters of American are what? No, let's see what else. Well, that's all. And the joy I had up until 3 o'clock, being one with the universe, and full of love and helpfulness and peace and oneness and allness of God and wholeness of God and goodness of God. There's a couple more things to remember, folks. Don't lie, steal, or cheat. Please, your conscience isn't worth it. Do not lie, steal, or cheat. And the last one is veganism. Go vegan. What is a vegan? A person who doesn't like to harm. A person who is kind. A person who loves the animals and treats them as they are. Brothers and sisters, some of us, all of us together. And sweetness and harmony and laughter and good cheer. Oh, you didn't tell a joke. Okay, let me try to think of a joke. How about the man who said to his priest, "Father, is it a sin for me to play golf on Sunday?" And the priest said, "Son, I have seen you play golf, and it's a sin for you to play golf any day of the week." Let's see how long this was.
The time is 10:04 a.m.
Come thou, almighty King. Come thou, all happiness. Helping the world we go.